And we are live, and I am here with MunsterDecon, and tonight's topic is female villainesses in horror. So, I think and a lot of people think of horror, they think of The Final Girl, but something that usually slips through the cracks, I think, is there's some really fantastic kind of female villains in horror, and it's interesting. As I was talking to you before, there is this kind of overlap between femme fatales and horror movies and femme fatales and thrillers. I think the biggest example of this would have been like the Hammer movies, where you had like the Frankenstein trilogy, where you kind of Dracula's lovers, and they were very much femme fatales. And we have a werewitch in the chat, and this is the person who I am glad is here as well, because I wanted to
Hello!
Yes.
But
from last night.
We're getting the
Kweeny,
monsters in town.
Queenie, as I was saying, do you think that female horror villains are kind of overlooked in horror movies in lieu of the likes of The Final Girls and the likes of that, where there's some really
I
good
do think they are. I think like there's people like us who appreciate them for what they are and know that they're just as powerful and scary as like Jason or Michael Myers, but because they're men, they tend to get the spotlight, whereas female villains like Julia, for instance, is an amazing villain. She could have been the Queen of Hell. They were planning to make her the Queen of Hell, but because people were like, Pinhead, all about Pinhead, it was all Pinhead. And then the series went down, right? Because they focused only on Pinhead.
Yeah, originally it wasn't supposed to focus on him. Julia was supposed to be the main body, but then everyone went fucking ballistic over Pinhead, and that's when things
they're supposed to be like godlike entities that are above us. You know what I mean? Like we're not supposed to be able to connect with them on a normal level.
I do think the whole BDSM community were like, ooh, this motherfucker's sexy, and that's kind of what drew the attraction as well, though. But sorry, Deacon, go on, you were saying?
All I was going to say was, when it comes to the books, the comic books, or even the idea of them, focusing it on one of the Cenobites is not good, because they're supposed to be a diverse collective where each one does a different thing. It's not just all Pinhead.
That's right.
Yeah, it's again, it's as you said, it's a collective of these kind of fucking these kind of creatures and characters and stuff like that. It's not just one individual, but like I'm not a fucking expert. The lady on the right side of you is the expert. So
yes.
I'm not even going to presume that.
Queenie is the expert. Queenie's the expert when it comes to Cenobites and most of the monstrous ladies out there.
Yeah, I've wasted my life a lot on it.
You broadened your horizons, not wasted it.
Well, ask me how many times a day do I think about Hellraiser? Just either that, or I'm thinking about like werewolves. I'm pretty stereotypical.
Souless has just chimed in saying, "I agree. They're a crew. Pinhead is obviously the leader, but they are a group, not just
they're
one
called the
person
Gash.
in charge." Yeah,
they're called the Gash, and it's because they're like,
hello,
horror retrospective.
And hello.
Hey, hi everybody.
I haven't seen you in forever.
Again, Trenchy, I'm going to let yourself and Mark in. I wanted two ladies in the conversation, so it wouldn't be a complete sausage fest talking about fucking horror villainesses. I think it would be it'd be disingenuous for myself and fucking Trenchy to be going on and on about horror villainesses when we
do appreciate you guys, putting your input. I mean,
no, I know that, but again, it's awesome.
I mean, I can step out if someone's being booted on account of me.
No. You can have up to 6 people here.
What I was saying was, I just wanted yourself and Queenie to have a guaranteed spot because I want your input on this again.
Aw.
I'm gonna leave a link to the main to enter by there. But Queenie, the question I want to get
treatment
would be: is Julia an out and out villain, or was she manipulated by Frank? Does she fall into the femme fatale region, or does she fall into kind of Mae West kind of territory where she was first into doing his bidding?
I think that it started with her being manipulated. She was innocent, I guess, at first, quotation innocent. But like, she was so into Frank, she was willing to do anything for him because he was giving her what she wanted. But she was selfish from the get-go. Like, just right away, she was so into Frank, she was willing to do anything for him.
Mark, back with. Well, sorry, Queenie, go on.
So I think she starts off like, kind of being fooled and tricked and by lust and, selfishness. Yeah. But then like she starts changing. You watch her change as she's killing people. Slowly she's starting to like it. She's starting to embrace it. And by the end, she's controlling Frank. When she's in the Hell Realms with him, she's controlling him. She rips his fucking heart out and eats it. Like, that's her saying, I'm the queen of hell now, Like, that's like a big symbol of her going, fuck you, this is my place now. You will do what I want.
So it's a character arc between the first and second movie where she starts off as kind of like an accomplice and then ends up becoming a more essentially a more formidable villain.
Yeah, she becomes empowered by it, right? She starts embracing her darkness. And she's so sexy when she's evil.
Do you think the series' longevity would have been kind of cemented if she had been kept as a mainstay villain?
I think it might have took a really interesting turn. I think it could have been a lot better in some ways, because you'd have like Julia being the main villain and Pinhead being what he's supposed to be, the Hell Priest, separated from that but still working for hell.
He's a what would you say, a chaotic, evil, neutral kind of character. He's
chaotic neutral. I don't think he's evil.
Yeah.
He takes it to a spiritual place.
I think with Julia, as you said, it was clever that like you can see she's manipulated, but as you point out, it becomes a power play, and by the second movie, she's evolved into something that is no longer going to be used as a pawn in anyone's kind of game. Sarah, if you had to pick kind of a horror villainess or a horror character to kind of either empathize with, or one you think that doesn't get half enough credit or is a lot more sympathetic than it should be, who would you pick? Cara?
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Actually, I can't think of anyone right off, but I would like to add to Queenie's kind of points about Julia is kind of like the whole Hellraiser. I'm more familiar with the first one, so I'm just going to give my opinions based off of the first film. But I do agree, she was just very meek and kind of squeamish about the whole thing. And eventually she does just fall into her own. She embraces her dark goddess energy, basically, and she dresses to the occasion, not just to lure the men in, but it's part of her persona. It helps her step into that dark figure that she needs to be in order to get business done, which is funny because she kind of started off a little bit kind of plain Janey, especially in the flashback scenes. She was just a very Pollyanna type character, I guess you could say, and then by the end she's very Black Widow about it. And I kind of like how her makeup progressively gets darker throughout the film. Her clothing becomes more provocative, and I describe her as she's in slut mode right now. She's hunting.
Yeah. She's in succubus mode, you know what I mean?
Would you say the likes of Mae West and Myra Hindley might have been influences on her character in Hellraiser? Would they have influenced Clive Barker, or do you think that's just it's just a kind of common trope of the kind of the accomplice, the female accomplice who comes into the role, or do you think that's it's something that's based in maybe real crimes, or it's more of a case of it's something that needs to be explored via the character sexuality and such forth? To anyone.
I think
Yeah, Sarah, go for it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I'm saying go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely a bit of both, especially in wardrobe and the way she carries herself, how it could have been influential. And then I'm just partially losing my train of thought here. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, I think it does play a big part into it, especially kind of like playing off your physical strengths as a woman versus just playing down your sexuality, where you're more likely to be ignored. It's one's sexuality is an extension of who they are. It's not necessarily persona, and you can either choose to embody or embrace that or suppress it.
It's a weaponization of kind of your promiscuous kind of side.
I'd say not necessarily a weaponization, but you're definitely embracing, or you're accepting that part of yourself. I mean, even from the insect kingdom or whatever, they devour their mates.
Yeah. So would you say about 80% of Julia is an out-and-out villain, whereas I'm going to be going on to another character here. Would you say that Julia is like a fairly clear-cut villain? While she has complexities, there was no kind of, it wasn't through no fault of her own that she took these actions. It was definitely kind of a choice.
It was definitely choice, because you also have to remember, at least film-wise, she was in love with Frank. She realized she cared more for Frank than for Larry, and she was a turncoat early on, even if she wasn't discovered until years later. So what she did was out of love and compassion. It wasn't selfishness. She just developed a taste for it along the way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on to another character, and I just want to get your opinion if this character is evil or merely a victim of circumstance. Kweeny, I'll let you take this one.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm showing you?
Let's see.
I can.
Ah, it's my girlfriend. Hi.
So,
Hey, babe.
So, do you think she was basically okay? Obviously, she was transformed accidentally.
Yeah.
But where most people might freak out, she seemed to embrace the lycanthropy.
Yes. I think it tapped into something deep in her that she didn't realize she had until the lycanthropy hit her. Like, I think it just exploded, like her puberty and everything just kind of exploded out of her in a very violent way, because that's what happens when you're a werewolf. Like, doesn't matter who you are.
Would you say her actions would have been evil, or would you put it down to like the lycanthropy and just the hormones? Or
I don't know if I'd say evil per se. Like, she does some fucking sick shit, but like, she does it because she's got this hunger inside her she can't control. Like, it's different than the way Julia accepts being evil. You know, she kind of embraces it and pulls it into her, whereas like Ginger, it was just a girl before that who had angst and stuff, whatever, but she had all this darkness and didn't know how to deal with it, so she took pictures and all this other stuff. But she gets violent as the beast comes out of her. Like, she starts beating up on girls and stuff, and like things get out of hand.
Like the thing is, the thing I like is it's obviously the lycanthropy that's like fucking her up, but it's the fact that she is a teenage girl going through puberty that seems to camouflage it from other people. People are like, oh yeah, she's just going through puberty.
She just has hormones. Yeah, she's just, yeah.
Cara, what would your take on Ginger be? Do you think she's out and out evil, or do you think she is kind of just a victim of circumstance?
I would say classically werewolves happen to be a victim of circumstance. They don't necessarily choose it, but it definitely pulls out that animal side that's deep within all of us, the light and the dark. So once again, I kind of feel that she suppressed who she was, because I got a lot of impression of shame. She would cover herself up. She really wouldn't dress the way a young girl would. When she would notice boys looking at her, she would have immediate attitude. Same thing, she would cover herself up. And I think it was just more kind of to a degree, she had more like invisible girl syndrome, to where she just didn't want more attention that was actually needed or necessary. And I think a lot of that comes from the mother character, who was very suppressive. She was very mean to them. It's very subtle, but you can kind of see it. Like, she's fake nice.
Yeah. Deacon, what's your take? Do you think Ginger was she just a victim of circumstance and a teenage girl caught up in things, or had her power kind of made her somewhat evil? What would your take be?
My take would be, deep down, she probably had some sociopathic and rage issues, and being bitten just made it come bubbling to the surface.
Yeah. Was that your tablet?
Sorry.
Cara, are you okay? No.
Yeah, I dropped my phone. Sorry.
God,
that's all right.
Yeah. Deacon, what you were saying there, do you think she would have turned out kind of homicidal had she not been bitten by the werewolf?
Maybe not homicidal, but she would have started developing probably a few tastes for sociopathic sociopathic tendencies of causing pain or discomfort when she really didn't have to, or enjoying it a bit more than she was necessary.
Well, Queenie, what do you think? Do you think Deacon's onto something? Do you think if she hadn't been bitten by the werewolf, she still would have been as aggressive?
She'd probably still be aggressive, but I don't think she'd be violent to the point of killing people. I think she still probably would have gotten into fights and shit. I think she still would have, because she has issues, right? Like, she does have that rage, and she had it before the werewolf. The werewolf just enhanced it, made it bigger.
Mark, your thoughts on Ginger in Ginger Snaps? Was she evil, or was it the werewolf that was kind of like fucking with her?
Honestly, I think Ginger always had those tendencies deep down inside her, but the fight and the change that she started going through just brought it all bubbling to the surface. If she hadn't been bit, would she have been as aggressive and nasty? Probably not. But would I call her out and outright evil? No.
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot of rage.
Again,
I know what that's like.
Very defensive
it's
for
a
sure.
teenage girl.
Teenage girl angry.
But you also have teenage girls being bullied at school.
Yeah, that would make her angry.
Exactly. So,
I think she'd still be fighting.
Trenchy, your thoughts on Ginger and Ginger Snaps? Do you think it was the werewolf that made her super dangerous, or being a teenage girl was that the real catalyst for her aggression?
It was definitely the werewolf. She was troubled before, she had that whole suicide pact with her sister. And she did find humor in poisoning a dog, if I remember correctly. But no, I don't think she was outright dangerous. I think she just needed someone to talk to besides her sister, because her sister was kind of just following her. She needed some actual guidance and the werewolf bite was the thing that brought out all the anger. Yes, she had that before, but I don't think she would have been killing. If she might have turned to drugs, and she might have had suicide attempts, I believe, but I don't believe she would have killed.
Like, again, it's an interesting character study because it's like, you know, would I be right in saying that Ginger Snaps is a horror movie without an antagonist? I mean, Ginger is much of a victim of the fucking situation as anyone she attacks.
You would most certainly be right in saying that Ginger Snaps doesn't have an antagonist.
I get that's probably a trope with a lot of werewolf movies. Like Lon Chaney, the poor guy through the duration of most of the movies is trying to fucking find a way out of the situation. He's just as much of a victim of the fucking werewolf or the werewolf curse as his quote unquote victims. But yeah, no, I just find it interesting that like when it's very rare that you have a kind of a straight up kind of evil female character, and that's what I like because I think a lot of people realize that fucking writing a female character is a lot more complex than writing a male kind of slasher. There's a lot of fucking avenues to approach, and I think that's what makes female kind of slashers and female killers a lot more interesting. Like Pamela Voorhees essentially she's not evil. She's fucking psychotic. She's a mother in pro.
Yeah, she's also a pretty mother.
Yeah, like okay, Cara, what's your take on Pamela Voorhees? Do you think is she out and out evil, or is she just someone who is incredibly fucking troubled and suffering from major psychosis?
I would say so. She was more warped by her pain than anything, and I think that's more a common thing with these stronger female roles is they're not necessarily evil. Very few of them are outright evil. There's always some backstory or underlying reason why they are the way they became. Obviously, with Mrs. Voorhees, she lost her son. She maybe to a degree felt betrayed or something was owed to her, which is why she did what she did to make sure the camp closed back down again.
Yeah. Like, again, you could argue, as you were saying, she wanted the camp to close, so she didn't want some other parent to go through the same kind of harrowing experience. Therefore, like, it's a very kind of Machiavellian way of trying to sort the situation. You know, it's just, it's her own deranged way of trying to protect other children and fucking kind of like, you know, there's also a sense of revenge. She's getting revenge for like the kids who are canoodling and fucking caused the death of her son. But you could also say she doesn't want anything else to happen to him. Deacon, Pamela Voorhees, what's your thoughts?
We take Pamela Voorhees as the way she is in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wouldn't class her as evil. I would class her as suffering temporary severe psychosis coupled with a bout of clinic depression.
Do you think it was right she got decapitated in the end?
I don't think it was right that she got decapitated, but I do think that she required life in a mental institution. She needed treatment, not being ignored, and that's what led to her becoming a killer.
Yeah, I like the fact, like as Cara said, with a character like Pamela Voorhees or a lot of female kind of horror villainesses, it's not cut and dry. There's a lot of emotional and psychological baggage with that character, and that's what is more compelling to in comparison to the likes of a standard kind of slasher. Yeah, there is kind of a bit of a trying to delve into the psychology of Michael Myers and stuff, but in the end, as Dr. Loomis says, it's cut and dry. He's pure evil. Whereas, like, there's an evolution and an arc to a person's persona in the likes of Pamela Voorhees. Switching to another character, which in the original film, she called The Offspring. She started off as an antagonist, and then by the second film, she had become a protagonist, a woman. Again, I don't know if the kind of genre of rape revenge movies is really kind of does it still have a place in the 21st century? And like, is it right to, again, I'm not fucking downplaying what happens to characters, but do we cheer on the character as they pursue their own kind of justice, and to a point, do we see them as a hero, or is that the horror element? You see a person who's gone through this trauma and they become obviously not as bad as what happened to them, but they've become malfested by it. Like Cara, with the woman, or with the likes of I Spit in Your Grave. Do you think that it's a good thing to kind of view these kind of female kind of characters as heroes or villains, or how would you kind of explain it if you were trying to explain to someone how this character falls into a category, or do you categorize an individual like that?
With the woman, I think you also have to take into consideration the first book, The Offspring, because the cannibal culture that she's part of, they're very close-knit, they're very family-orientated. So I think maybe to a degree she's more of a metaphor to where families should be close and take care of each other, rather than a father who misuses his own daughter, and now they have to deal with their own inbred offspring, which no one really knows about yet. But she sees that when she first sees the daughter, in her own language, she kind of mumbles baby and she points at her. She's the only one that knew and saw the truth. She's also the only one who got them out of that situation. She got rid of the passive mother, which was an enabler. She got the younger sister out of there. That created a doorway for the younger daughter to get out of there as well. So they made their own family. So they reunited, or they made something new. And that's, I think, a lot of some of these stories are not just one categorical. There's always multi-layers. So I think in this one, the woman really...
Yeah, there's no cut or dry hero, or obviously there's a villain. Obviously the father was an absolute fucking heinous piece of shit. But as you said, the woman wouldn't be what you would call a conventional heroine. She's just someone who is a matriarch, who is reasserting her matriarch kind of.
She's the mama bear, basically. She's surrogate mother who takes in and protects. But to answer your first question, as far as do I feel that rape revenge still has a place in our society, I'd say so, especially when you still have things like the Me Too movement going on, or basically President Trump making statements that it's okay to treat women as objects. I think it's very much we have to assert ourselves, whether it's creatively or using some form of catharsis through film, art, or expressing verbally what we've been through. Every woman has the right to do that.
There was a very interesting take on kind of like a rape revenge story. The title escapes me, so cut in, guys, if you can think of it. It was basically two young girls who were part of an orchestra. They were violinists, and you think one of them is the villain at the start, but it turns out she's actually trying to save a younger member or a newer member of the orchestra, and she ends up losing her arm as a result. I'm trying to think what the fucking movie is. It was on Netflix.
Obsession.
Thank you, Deacon. Cara, have you seen Obsession?
I haven't. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's interesting because it's very subversive in that you think one character is a villain, a female villain. You think she's trying to fuck over this girl to get a better place in the kind of symphony orchestra, but it's actually she's trying to protect her from the sexually predatory kind of the head of the orchestra group, and it is an interesting one. Queenie, have you seen Obsession?
I've seen Perfection. It sounds like Perfection.
Perfection.
Yeah, isn't that the one with the violinist and stuff?
Yeah. Deacon, I think it's Deacon. It's actually called Perfection.
Yeah, great. Steve Ben knows.
That's why I just said Obsession.
Yeah, you said Obsession.
You were close. You were close.
But
there's a lot of obsession in it.
But it's an interesting movie that you think that one of the characters is a villain when she's not. She's actually trying to do it to save the other girl from a fate that she met at. I was saying to Cara, Queenie, that do rape revenge movies still have a place in the 21st century, or do you think it's definitely?
Absolutely. Definitely. As women, we go through so much shit. It's nice to see someone who goes through the similar shit you went through and gets revenge. Because even though we want to be good people most of the time, there's still a part of us, a little tiny part of us, that's bitter about what happened.
Like
from my experience.
Well, if I could just add really quick, I think a lot of why they're viewed as psychotic is it's more an exaggeration of the emotional trauma that the woman goes through. But there's no real way to convey that on film other than she flips out and everyone gets their comeuppance.
Yep, agreed. Totally agreed.
And like I agree with you in that. I am always worried though that there is a small brick of like fucking weirdo pervert male horror fans that do get their jollies from watching that, and like
I think it's important though for us to feel empowered in some way, you know, even if we have to put up with that.
I know that, but say there is a movie like that. The character is dragged into a barn. The barn door closes. We hear noises. The character comes out bloody and disheveled. Does that still work, or does it lose the fucking impact of that? Like, would that still be a kind of, would that still be a credible addition to the, like, again, it seems to be a kind of scales, whereas the treatment and the trauma the character goes through that we watch is justification for what we see her or them meet out on the antagonist. So,
well, I've got like a recent example here.
Go for it.
We watched The Cleaning Lady for Freaky Girls Live, and this movie is fucking brutal and horrible, and it shows a little girl getting revenge in the end.
Okay.
It is a revenge story once you see everything play out. And like in that case, I would say it's an important movie because what she goes through is fucking real. And everything in this movie isn't like over the top. It's like real. You know what I mean? When someone goes psychotic, when someone breaks, what causes them to break, right? And all the abuse she goes through from her mom basically selling her like a whore to these dirty, perverted men. And like, it's horrible what happens to her. You feel for her, but then you see her change because she just gets fed up. Her eyes just go from like sweet, innocent girl to like basically black demon eyes. Like, like she's done.
I'm guessing this is a I need to have a shower after watching it movie, right?
Yes. It is very horrific. It is graphic. They do it really well. Like they don't go too over the top with it. Some things are just implied. Like you don't see the girl being physically raped, right? Like when you watch like Day of the Woman, you see her get physically raped. They just hint at it. They just go, "This is what's going to happen," and then it happens, and then you see how she reacts.
Okay.
So
And like so, it does because of that it doesn't lose any of the impact.
that's right, exactly.
Okay. So yeah, again, like I think another good example of that would be, and it's nowhere near as harrowing as Close. And some people might argue. I have heard people saying it's very soft. Ellen Page in Hard Candy, like everything is done via implication. What Queenie? What's your thoughts on that movie, Hard Candy? Do you think?
Hard Candy, I like that movie. That's a good revenge movie that deals with sexual abuse, and it's very graphic. The way she tortures him is pretty fucking intense.
It is. But the other thing is though, like the Ellen Page, her performance was so good because like we don't see any of his actions. We see her reaction to finding his photos. We see her reaction to different stuff. And that in itself, it's the implication that works really well in that movie. And again, Trenchy, did you see the movie Hard Candy? What did you think of it?
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's very interesting on how it does it. Like, I heard, like, both sides are kind of guilty, which I find interesting for, rape revenge film to be explained like that to me. So would you say that's a good, like, description of that, or a good,
there's never shown any kind of sexual assault. There is some very uncomfortable bits with photos being taken, but the main thing is it's more of Ellen Page being like a fucking teenage Charles Bronson going after Patrick Wilson, and it's an interesting movie. I went to see it with a friend of mine, and my friend Barry, he's a funny fucker. When the testicle castration scene came up, he just started fucking laughing. And to this day, I don't know if people started leaving because of that scene or because my friend Barry thought it was fucking hilarious. But it's an interesting movie, and it was definitely a flick I crossed my legs while watching a particular scene. So I'd highly recommend it.
I will see it eventually. It's on my radar.
So I'm going to move on to another kind of subculture of horror, kind of classic subculture of horror. Give me 1 second. So Hammer horror. And Hammer horror. Did Hammer do stuff for titillation, or did they write actually good kind of female horror villains? What's your take? Cara, what's your take? Do you think Hammer were just all about the kind of like bosoms and blood, or do you think they actually had some compelling horror villains in their catalogue?
I think it's a little bit of both, and usually the first person I think about is Ingrid Pitt when it comes to Hammer. Is she definitely used her body as an extension of her acting. She wasn't letting herself be used as some little toy or an object. It was more a means to an end, as the way she would carry her personas or play her characters. Even the way they dressed, they spoke, everything was very calculated and thought out. It was for a reason. It wasn't just because.
Yeah, she wasn't like in the late 60s and 70s. You had a slew of these kind of playmates, whereas Ingrid Pitt gave a serious legitimacy to kind of her characters, and even Carolyn Monroe. Obviously, she was there. A lot of Carolyn Monroe stuff was there for titillation, but you got the feeling that she was making an attempt. But Ingrid Pitt, I think, well, as you said, she kind of used the best of both worlds for her character, and she wasn't just some kind of dumb buxom blonde who'd be a victim the whole time. Queenie, if you had to pick a kind of favorite Hammer horror actress or character that portrayed? Had you any kind of like had you
I've
any
always,
kind of
I've always loved the bride. I've always felt that she was, she got the hard stick, like
oh
hard,
yeah,
pulled the short stick.
the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, because like she gets fucked over so hard. Like, no wonder she doesn't want to be with him. She doesn't want to be with anybody. They're all fucking horrible.
I liked her hiss.
Yeah,
It's like
I love that hiss. It's so iconic. It's just like, get away from me. Like a snake.
Kind of okay, guys. Classical, Mark. Classical kind of female horror villain from either Hammer or Universal.
I think if we're going to go back that far, you have to go look at Barbara Steele. She played a villain in just about every horror movie she was ever in, and again used the best of both worlds.
Yeah, she was in. What was it? Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
She was put into an Iron Maiden, and like it was like I remember watching that. It was an old film, but there's a scene where the guy, the executioner, is actually hammering the Iron Maiden clothes, and you can fucking feel it. And again, that just comes across as a character who was persecuted, and that's why she has a reason to be as kind of vicious as she is. Trenchy, any kind of classic Hammer or Universal horror movies or characters that you kind of are a fan of?
I'm trying to think. Like, I haven't seen any Hammer. I'm trying to think of like maybe like Universal, because I've only seen the original Universal, and I'm trying to think of any female villain characters.
Like if I had to pick
the chick from House on Haunted Hill, she was good. The thing I liked about her was she was very posh, and she was, of course, she wanted to kill her husband. That's fucked up. But Vincent Price was just as fucked up as her too. They were really a match for each other, and I really like that dynamic.
Deacon, what about yourself, dude?
Are we talking Universal or Hammer?
I'm going to give you a. Do you know what? Mark made a good point of including. Mark and Queenie made a good point of including Universal. I don't even know why the fuck. I don't think there is even a big catalog of Universal villainesses, but I'm opening it up to that as well.
Not really.
Stephanie Bax.
What was she in, dude?
The Witches.
I have not seen that movie.
She's the one who is in charge of a cult, voodoo, stuff like that, and is the one who performs all of the sacrifices, ripping the guts out of people, stuff like that, and actually enjoying it.
And like, is she out evil, or is she kind of like, has she been persecuted or pushed, or?
Sorry, my brain went blank.
Is she out and out evil, or is it the case that she was persecuted or punished for studying witchcraft?
She's just out and out evil. It's a way to control the people around her.
Okay.
Control freak.
If I had to pick my favorite kind of Hammer horror villainess, and I don't know if this character falls into the realm of trans, but Martine Beswick's Sister Hyde. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't
It rings a bell. It rings a bell, but I can't remember it.
Essentially, Jekyll doesn't only change his persona, he also changes his gender. I enjoy the movie, but it's kind of saying that, yes, women are pure evil. When you transform into a woman, you become pure evil. I enjoy it. I like the premise because it is a cool idea that, that this is how and it's basically it's also saying that Sister Hyde is Jack the Ripper, and this is how she was able to get close to all the prostitutes. That she was a woman. They didn't see them as a threat. I really like the movie, but I do think it's kind of it is very silly. But Martine Beswick is fantastic as this kind of sultry kind of she's almost like a cat. She's almost like a cat fucking toying with her prey. But if you are a Hammer horror fan, definitely check it out. It's a must, and it's a kick-ass movie. So yeah, that's basically. I was racking my brain like, do female villainesses get as much kind of like fucking of a spotlight as kind of slashers or even final girls? And I don't think they do. But there is actually, as Queenie and Cara and Ollie pointed out, there is kind of like a major stable of these characters, and it's kind of shitty that they've been pushed to the back. Do you think guys, do you think it's getting better? Do you think female villains are coming more to the forefront in horror, or is it just too much shit?
Because like the stuff that's been coming out, all the new stuff has been pretty good.
What's that one? The Nun. Like, again, is she a credible female villain, or is it just another kind of fucking?
I think so. I think she's very much a predator. She just wants to do her job, you know.
Okay, Cara, what about yourself? Do you think there's some good kind of recent female horror villains, or is it kind of stagnating, or what's your viewpoint on it?
I think it kind of goes in phases. I haven't really seen too many modern films, so I can't really comment on that, but I think it definitely goes in phases in what fits the time or what's popular at the time as far as the villainess character. She definitely has a place. There's always a place and time for her, whether she falls into the 60s, the 90s, or nowadays. I think it's more a product of our time, and it's reflective of what's going on in society that these characters resurface.
Yeah, it's again, as you were saying, with the Me Too movement and stuff, it's also, it could be an ample source of, like, you know, the Day of the Woman kind of revenge kind of scenario with a lot more. I wouldn't say villainesses. I'd say anti-heroines. I don't know. I kind of
think that's more correct.
Yeah, I like, and as I was talking to you yesterday on your stream, like, do you think there is an overlap between femme fatales and kind of horror villainesses? Like,
I would say so. Like, the first example that comes to mind is Lady Frankenstein, where she kind of uses this creature to her own benefit, but he's also a toy to her to a degree. Go do my bidding, you're my pet type thing.
Queenie, what about yourself? Have you any kind of favorite femme fatales from the movie? Not even necessarily horror movies. If you want to branch out, maybe thrillers, dark thrillers. Have you any favorite kind of femme fatale characters?
The first one that comes to mind is Basic Instinct, because that's kind of the classic, right? Like, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's a prime manipulator, you know. She's sexy as fuck, and she knows it. And I think a lot of femme fatales use their sexuality on men because they don't have many weapons against men, right? Men rule the world. Men are strong and can hurt you and pin you down, but a woman can fuck with your head. A woman can fuck with your heart, you know, and she knows exactly where to go for that. So I love a femme fatale that embraces their sexuality, that embraces the fact that that's powerful if you use it in the right way, you know?
Yeah.
Basic Instinct is good for
that. What about you, Bart? Have you a favorite kind of movie femme fatale?
I would have to go with Juno from The Descent. Talk about a true villain in every sense of the word. Juno from The Descent.
What a bitch.
I wouldn't call Juno a villain.
But she is. If you look at the definition of the word, she sleeps with her best friend's husband, has an affair with her best friend's husband, then lures her best friend down to go spelunking in an attempt to get rid of her best friend. That is
Wait,
the very.
She tries to get rid of the best friend. I never got that.
Wait, Mark, is that actual? Are you
The
sure?
thing is, I don't know if that's actually real or not because the main character is insane, like utterly and completely insane. She doesn't know she's insane, but she is. Like at the end of the movie, we don't realize if like what she went through actually happened or not because she's so fucking crazy. Like,
watch the sequel. It answers a lot of questions.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't seen the sequel.
I've only seen the first one.
Trenchy, if you had to pick a favorite femme fatale,
not
just from a horror movie, can be from any movie you want.
That's of all time. Like for horror, it's easy. I go with Baby Firefly. For all time, that's a little hard. I would have to think about that more, but definitely Baby Firefly because the thing is, she comes off as ditzy, right? But then she'll switch that on and she'll show you that she's actually smart and she can fuck with your head. That's what I love about her. She is very ditzy, but she has that mental stability that she can let fuck with you, and I do enjoy that. She gets underestimated a lot.
So yeah, but that I actually think she came to her peak in the last movie, Tree from Hell.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to see a bit more of the kind of the kind of fucking the clockwork of her fucking thinking in that movie. Deacon, favorite femme fatale from either horror or thriller, anything in particular?
Are we talking favourite one for how deranged they are, or favourite one as in how well they pulled it off in piece of media?
Either or, and again, it doesn't exclusively have to be horror. It can be thriller, it can be a suspense, or it can be anything.
In that case, Samara the Ring.
Okay. Would she be classed as a femme fatale, though?
Well, about femme fatale. Asmara Yamazaki audition.
Oh
Nice.
yeah,
Seductive, beautiful.
That would definitely categorize as a femme fatale. I have one that 13 originals. Ethel says Annie Wilkes from Misery.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
Walker's chick.
Love it.
No, she's good, but Barbara Stanwyck from Double Indemnity. I've not seen that. I would have to go with this character is fucking awesome. She's fucking psychotic as well. I forget her actual character's name, but the actress who plays her is fantastic. Lena Olin in a movie called Romeo is Bleeding. Basically, she plays a fucking a Russian hit woman, and she plays a Russian hit woman, and she tries bribing Gary Oldman to let her go, and when that doesn't work, she pretends to have sex with him. Then she attempts to rape him to death. Then when he's trying to bring her back in the car, she tries to strangle him with her hips and then cut off her own arm to escape. This fucking chick is badass. If you get a chance,
I gotta see that.
Definitely check out Romeo is Bleeding. It has obviously Gary Oldman, Lena Olin, Juliette Lewis, and Roy Scheider. It came out in 1994, I think. But she is up there with the fucking most badass fucking hit women and kind of femme fatales on the planet. Hey, Jack's in the chat. I'm reading a book at the moment, The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Transformed Nanny into a 9-year-old pro tag. Okay. So Misery. See, that's the thing. Like, Queenie, when you think of femme fatale, do you think of automatically a character that uses their sexuality to kind of lure their prey in?
I think that's an important part of it. That's what makes
Yeah.
them fatale.
I'm not saying Ali Wilkes isn't a fantastic.
No, she's a
female
good villain. Like if we're just purely talking about horror villain women, yes.
Yeah,
I
you
think
would.
a lot of that was just luck. She
considered-
just happened upon the right place and right time, and the guy in trouble just happened to be her favorite writer, and so it's not really she laid out a trap. It was just more like, oh, lucky day, I've got the
I
prize.
found a thing.
But
Yeah.
the thing about it is she uses her kindness to kind of lure him into a safe security, and then she'll
But it's
freak
not
out on him.
sexual.
That's the
It's not
scary
sexual
part.
for her.
I think when it comes to be
Yeah, it's
femme
not
fatale,
sexual.
That's what makes
sexuality.
the fatale important, because fatales use sex. That's their weapon.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, Ethel,
But she is a villain. She's a great villain.
I'm not shooting you. Ethel, you were 100% fucking right. She is an awesome female villain. So yeah, that kind of rounds up my springboard topic. Deacon had an idea that if you want to divulge in it, and if anyone else after has any other ideas, Deacon, what was the topic you wanted to discuss that you thought was kind of an
It was
interesting
just,
one?
it was only if it came up in conversation if people were going that way. Who is your actual real life favourite female serial killer or femme fatale?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a hard one. I don't know. Like, I find that when people talk about serial killers in the horror community, sometimes they get a little crazy about it. Like, I think they go a little far with it, because I think worshipping these people is not a good idea.
Oh, no.
You know, when you
No,
wear
no,
shirts
no.
with Charles Manson on it, like, that's worshipping him. Like, what are you doing? He's a fucking killer.
I know.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
the best way to put
If
it
I-
is which
That's just me,
female
though.
which female serial killer or femme fatale do you know more about, or you're more interested in? Not because of fandom, but because you can either
They're just
sympathise
interesting.
with them, or or because they're interesting.
Jack just suggested Carol Baskin.
Ooh! Goddamn Carol Baskin.
Unfortunately, they
Baskin,
still can't prove that she fed her ex-husband to fed her husband to a lion.
Oh, Ben mentioned something really cool. Typhoid Mary.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Typhoid Mary was actually. I know the story.
She wasn't a serial killer.
She was not at total fault.
No.
At what happened. Sorry, Deacon, go on.
It's to add on to what you're saying. Typhoid Mary, in the first instance, was not guilty. In the two other epidemics that she caused, she was guilty.
She fled, but they didn't fucking explain what was wrong to her.
Yeah, you gotta tell people shit, you know?
Yeah. At the time, there was a major anti-Irish movement in the United States, and she thought she was essentially being picked on because she was an Irish immigrant. In the finish, she decided to surrender herself to the police, and she worked in the lab to help them with tests. It was incredibly sad because she said her only vocation in the world she loved was cooking and preparing meals, and it was just, again, she didn't want to hurt anyone, and it was just a case of as an Irish person of that time, she wasn't educated. She didn't realize what was fucking going on. So I would never. Ben, I'm not giving out or anything. I wouldn't like to classify Typhoid Mary as a serial killer or a murderer or anything.
She's just a victim of circumstance.
Victim of circumstance. Cara, have you any real life kind of killers or murderers, female murderers that fascinate you?
I wouldn't say fascinate, but the one I can relate to would would probably be Lorena Bobbitt, who emasculated her husband for being unfaithful. Who hasn't felt that way?
Right.
Whoa.
That shit was
Preach.
funny. I'm sorry, but that shit was funny.
How many people here in the chat just crossed their legs?
See?
Okay, I am a total dullard when it comes to this. Who was the chick who killed her husband with an axe? Christina Ricci played her in
Lizzie Borden.
Yeah.
Lizzie Borden with an axe gave his mother.
Did she actually exist?
Yes.
Mhm.
And like, what was her deal? Was she actually fucking? Was she actually nuts, or was it malicious, or is there a history? Does anyone know? Hey, Dice.
It is the dice.
Is there any kind of any kind of precedent for why she did what she did? Does anyone know?
Ooh, give me his deadline. Because I'm currently reading her Wikipedia.
Dice, have you any idea why Lizzie Borden fucking gave her husband 6 whacks with an axe, or however the poem
He
goes?
probably did something. He probably did something.
You forgot the milk, you cunt!
You forgot to put the milk away.
But yeah, no. I again, it's interesting that, like, you know, we're us as a culture, we're fascinated with
Unfortunately, you're not going to get a answer for her motivation because she
Charles
was
Cochran says
acquitted.
Thank you, Charles. 60 whacks. Thanks, Ethel. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm going to springboard from that potential topic to this one. Why do you think people are fascinated with serial killers? Queenie, why do you think there is such a kind of like?
I think a lot of us, especially horror fans, we like. I don't know if "like" is the word. We all have dark sides, right? Some of us actually indulge in them, and some of us are restrained enough to not. And I think that those of us who are drawn to these kinds of people's stories is because, like, that dark part of us might have some sort of connection to them. You know, maybe they have a life that's similar to your own, but they went the different way. They went the horrific path.
So
you know?
it's like, what could have happened if you'd gone wrong, or what?
If you just let yourself go. Yeah, exactly.
I do find it funny. There's a guy who joined a Ted Bundy fan group, and, like, you know, all these women, like, fucking listing out their kind of fucking fetish fantasies about Ted Bundy. Like, how does that work? Why does that fucking work? Is that like fucking normal? Is that like, you
Serial
know,
hag.
Yeah.
Like, some women are actually excited by the thought of a person who took another one's life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jesus.
Yeah.
You brought this topic up.
No. I know. I find it fascinating, but I find it's like it's one of these things where I find it fascinating myself, but it's like, imagine opening a Christmas present, being really excited for it, and then when you open it, you find like a dog shit inside the box. It's like, oh, cool. Oh, what the fuck? You know, that's the best analogy I can get for it. It's just, I don't know. Come here. Any other topics? Does anyone want to bring up? Because I'm gonna leave it open and free.
Dice had something really cool.
Go for it, Queenie.
She says, I feel like, among what Queenie mentioned, people are fascinated by serial killers because they can't quite wrap their heads around the motives. They can't understand why someone would do that. Plus a morbid curiosity of the taboo. Yeah. Nailed it.
I agree. Because the thing is,
Dice no shit.
Go, Trenchy.
I was gonna say, us humans as a society, we're always looking for answers. Like, we always are wondering what happens after death, or why do we exist? We're always looking for answers. So we see this thing that we cannot totally understand. Like, we see someone kill someone, and obviously, if you haven't done it before, you can't understand why they're doing that. So I think that's kind of our obsession. We kind of have this obsession with finding out truths for questions that we can't answer. We always want answers.
It's the unknown. It's the child peeking into the dark closet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like morbid curiosity, kind of like when say you tell someone their spouse has been murdered or something. Usually they're shocked and surprised, and the next question that follows is usually what happened or how did it happen, instead of just ignoring that part altogether.
I think even on a fucking minor level, everyone has that. Because you know the way you're like a passenger in a car, and you're like driving down the motorway or the freeway or the road, and you see a car wreck, and you can't help but like look out the window to see what the fuck is going on. I'd equate it to that as well. Dice, do you want to come in? Do you want me to switch things up? I could jump off, or would if you want to come in, I'll jump off and let you on for a while.
Can you do that? Can you jump off your own stream?
Apparently I actually can.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I
I
know
think
that
I
was
can.
a thing.
Oh, Streamlabs. What do we do without you?
Like, or like, would anyone be like?
I could leave if you want.
I was about
Oh,
to say
you
the same
can't.
thing. I can step out if you need room for
No,
Dash to come in.
okay, Cara, I'm not. You can't. Okay, no bother. But yeah, no. Is there any other topics you guys would like to kind of broach?
Oh,
Or
Dice
and
is busy at the moment. Don't worry.
Google's saying I'm trying to fucking ask for something.
I'm
No,
looking at
Google,
the chat.
I'm not talking to you. Stupid phone. Anyway,
Just
Well,
random, going back to something before. Lizzie, Typho's Mary.
yeah.
Mhm.
You could classify her as completely innocent up until after her first quarantine, because after that she was explicitly told what she had, how it was transmissible, what she needed to avoid, and she still went ahead and infected people.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
she didn't believe them.
Yeah,
She thought
she
she
thought
was-
she was being prejudiced against. Like,
Yeah,
she,
because she was
and then-
Irish.
yeah.
Then she was quarantined again for a second time, released, and she still went back to cooking.
Yeah.
That's on her.
You know, humans.
Being told repeatedly times.
Jack had an interesting fact here. Jack, what's this in relation to? But I'll just say it. Jeffrey. Jeffrey Dutais killed a child molester of 6 months in an airport and got 200 hours community service. Fair play.
Whoa!
That's another thing, right? Like, in our culture, people get away with a lot more, especially when they're white. They get white men. They just get away with all the shit. They can like molest children. They can kill them, and you get 200 hours of community service. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I think
I think
it's
the real punishment would be making them work at McDonald's.
Yes. Devious
No, but
white shit.
Didn't he say that he killed the dude that molested him?
yeah.
Eat this McDonald's food. This is your
I remember that.
No,
The dad was on the phone, and then he pretended to be on the phone, and when they brought the dude that molested his kid near him, he shot him in the head.
fuck. You know that case, Trent? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because what happened is he let his daughter stay over at his friend's house, and the friend molested him. I think this is the same case. The friend molested his daughter, so he straight up assassinated the dude.
I Dice's slightly subtle sexist comment. You don't hear about many female serial killers because they're better at removing bloodstains.
Yeah. Catty bitch. That's why I love Dice.
That's good.
Guys, I'm going to use the Jackson Pollock. Be right back. You guys be chatting away. And you know what? While I'm gone, you pick a subject because I'm fucking leading this
No
charge.
pressure.
You decide what to chat about.
Don't leave it just to us.
There is a female villain we didn't get to talk about.
Oh.
May. You ever watch May?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
She's so
most of it.
Well, she's just this messed up girl who has issues, man. Like, 'cause she doesn't know how to socialize with people. I think she's autistic in a way, like the way they present her. And like, she starts snapping and decides to make her own friend, since no one else would be her friend.
Speaking of villains that we didn't bring up, what about the girl from The Orphan?
That's another good one. She's a sick fuck.
Especially when she's sitting there talking with her adopted mom, and she's like, "Oh, you and Daddy were fucking." And she just says it so nonchalantly, like, "What?" She's like,
Yeah.
But
that
that
was really good. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a fucked up kid. That's what that is. I love movies with fucked up kids. I don't care what gender they are. My children come to me.
What about Nadine Cross from The Stand? She's one of my favorites because she is kind of groomed by the devil. She is groomed by the devil to be this thing. And she has a chance toward the light, but she pushes it away because she thinks she's not good enough for it. But in the end, she does sacrifice herself to save the world from the Antichrist. So it's like I've debated with my family a lot, would this person go to heaven or hell afterwards? Because that's kind of like The Stand has a very religious vibe, because in the end, I believe she is a hero and deserved to go to heaven. Yes, she made mistakes, but in the end, I think there was more good in her than bad.
I guess it depends on what version of God they're playing with in that movie. Because if it's like the traditional Christian God, pretty vengeful, pretty pissed off if you fuck with him.
Oh yeah, he was a prick.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like again with like certain characters. I find I love Michael Myers because he's more. There is like again, he's a flesh and blood serial killer, and with the new movie, they're stating the fire department put out the fire and stuff. Whereas he's not in Supernatural, but there is this kind of supernatural rate presence. Whereas a character, I think there is like room for more characters with a bit more development in kind of horror movies. Like the 80s is cool, but a lot of people mix up Jason with Michael Myers because their MO and their looks are very kind of similar. These guys with like masks and knives and stuff. And that was cool back then. But I think the audience is a bit more kind of sharper for something, a bit more interesting. I like the original one, but everyone goes apeshit over Jigsaw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's just a guy with a chip on his shoulder. Just a heads up, Cara. Deacon isn't doing that because he's fucking mad or anything. He has a condition.
Oh,
We just
okay.
tease him about it.
No,
I do apologize.
That was
Funny.
not even on the radar. That's not even good enough.
You're good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta work on it.
That's a 6 at best.
That's your warm up. That's your warm up. You gotta warm up.
Cara, what would you rate Deacon out of his burp out of 10? What would you give him?
I'd say that was a good 10.
No.
Nice.
No.
You can do better.
Based on Link's alone, not actual
five.
sound, but Link that he actually held that belch note.
I'm gonna see if I can find a clip and then play it so
I'm
you can
not
just hear
impressed,
it.
Deacon. I know you can do better.
Deacon Jack's giving you
I'm a hard
second.
sell.
Booger burp.
Oh god. Up and coming horrors or movies you're looking forward to. Cara, you're new, so I'll give you first dibs. What horror movie that's coming out you're looking forward to?
I've been out of the loop. I haven't kept up, so I'm probably the worst person to ask.
No, but is there any kind of movie that you've seen online that you want to check out, or what's next on your hit list? Because I know you're getting back into the swing of things. Like, is there any
Right now, I'm mostly sticking to the moral panic genre, and I'm just kind of sticking to that until I ease back in and get back into the swing of things. But it's not new anymore. But the last one that had caught our interest was Parasite.
Oh,
Ah.
I need to watch that. Yeah.
That's a really good movie.
That's
From a
movie.
retrospective, Cara, get ready for this. I've turned the volume up. This is my goal. This is what a 10 should sound like.
Jesus.
That's a 10.
Whoa!
is that from
Sounded
Revenge
like
of the
demons
Nerds?
coming out of your asshole.
Are you accusing him of pulling a bad line over there?
Sounds like
That's a clip
Godzilla.
Yeah, that's from Revenge of the Nerds.
Saying it burps.
Yeah, Deacon, if I'm not mistaken, it was either you that told me or Good Bad Flicks that was a camel orgasming.
That was me. Yeah,
Wait,
that
that's
burp,
not
they
you.
took a recording of a camel orgasming and just played it as he opened up his mouth.
That's so disgusting.
Wait, what?
But that's the gold standard. That's a 10. Once I can
Yeah,
watch that, I can claim Burp King.
Deacon, the only way you can accomplish that 10 is to have some animal husbandry with a camel, dude. That's the only way you'll be able to emulate that fucking sound.
I'm impressed, Deacon. I'm impressed.
I can try. I can get there. I can get
I
there.
love you.
Poor Cara's like, what fucking kind of stream have I gotten myself into?
Cara,
She loves it.
Cara remembers when I was a bit more behaved and a bit more subdued and a bit shy. I'm not
This is
that
what happens
anymore.
when you stream too much. It twists you. Stop being
Well,
innocent.
Because I used to have to cover the microphone when I burped just to make sure it didn't disturb the stream. Now it's just like people encourage me. People have encouraged me just to let it out.
Because we love you.
Let it go,
Well, better off than
let it go. From the bowl it shall flow.
Actually, kind of a springboard question from the topic Trenchy brought up. Have any of you guys seen the trailer for the new Stand miniseries?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were doing another one.
It looks pretty awesome. I'm not going to put it up. I'm done putting up video clips over what happened. My fucking chat over what happened. My
last video.
Stream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
I heard, man.
That was a
I'm
dick
sorry
move.
about that shit.
God damn it,
Whoa.
YouTube.
I was like, oh man,
Sorry, I can't have nice things.
that stream was brilliant thanks to Trenchy alone. Trenchy
Oh,
was like a child opening up his presents on Christmas whenever that fucking thing turned up. I mean, you were in the throes of fucking laughter. And I was like, oh, this is gold. And then I stupidly played a clip from the WWF or E archive, and I got fucking flagged. And rookie mistake. But
they wouldn't even let him edit it out. It was at the end of the video.
I couldn't even download my fucking video on StreamYards and then re-upload it. The whole thing was fucking gone, kit and caboodle.
That's the thing about StreamYards, is it won't let you unless if it uploads to YouTube, you can't download it in any way.
It's because it's owned by Google.
You can't download the video afterwards?
No,
I've done it. I've done it. What are you using?
StreamYards
I use the program.
it was simultaneously fucking cleared on YouTube as it was cleared on StreamYard's Queenie.
Oh shit! Okay, damn.
Yeah, all
If
gone.
it uploads
The
to
StreamYard
YouTube,
version
you
gone.
can download it, but if
YouTube
it
version
doesn't,
gone.
it's
Well,
I
so I have a Discord
okay.
now, so if I want to show people things, I can show them things, and no one gives a shit.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
on Discord
I
they
was
can't
sending-
say any boo. Yeah, on Discord they
I
can't
was
say
sending-
boo.
I was sending poor Queenie clips of Letterkenny to try and kind of
Yeah.
gauge if it was authentic, and I think I made you homesick.
You did. You made me so
No.
homesick. I can't even tell you. I'm like, oh, these are my people. These are my people with all their slang. Yeah.
But going back to Trenchy's topic, and the trailer looks pretty fucking awesome. It looks like they're going to do a hell of a lot more better version of The Stand than we got with the old 1990s miniseries, which I love. But this seems pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about Whoopi Goldberg being Mother Abigail. I don't know. It just
Doesn't seem right.
I mean, well, it's kind of funny because she was in Sister Act, right? Like,
I
I see the
know,
humor in it.
like Mother Abigail is a Trenchy. It's been so long since I read the book. She's supposed to be 109 or something.
Yeah,
That's
she's
old,
really old, and from the
Yeah,
original, I haven't read the book in so long, but the original movie, that woman like looked ancient, like looked like if you touched her the wrong way, she would like break. She was amazing. I think Whoopi will do good, but I get your concerns there.
Yeah, I don't know if she looks old enough, but I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I get your concerns about Amber Heard being in it, because
I just don't like that she's playing my favorite character. That's what I don't like about it. But
See, I don't care how
guess
pretty
she does
you
a good
are. Like,
job. Oh, sorry, Queenie. What were you gonna say? My bad.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, I was gonna say, like, with Amber Heard, like, I don't care how pretty you are. If you're a fucking asshole, you're a fucking asshole.
No,
I don't
I
want
agree.
anything. I will not support your shit. You know.
like
That's why.
there isn't really many actors you can say they literally shit the bed with
Yeah.
their career. But no, she literally
shit the
shit the
bed.
bed with her career.
And that's why I don't like that she's playing Nadine. It's like this is an important character. I think this character, it's a very close character to me because I feel like she's very misunderstood. And then you have this total demon bitch playing her, and it's like I don't know.
Would you be okay if she was? Would you be okay if she was playing who was the one that was fucking in cahoots with Randall Flagg?
What?
I think you were talking about her before I came back.
That's who she's playing. She's playing Nadine.
Okay, so okay. We'll see. Maybe it won't be so bad, but yeah, no, I am looking forward to it. Horror wise, I'm still fucking waiting for Antler. I'm my fucking accent. Antlers. I was gonna say Antler. I've Cara, have you seen the trailer for that?
I haven't. I'm so
Seriously?
out of the loop.
Check out the trailer for Antlers. It's cool. Am I pronouncing it right? You know when you say something in your head and you're like,
Yeah, I think you're fine. I feel like you're fine.
Oh, Antro. Hello, Antro. Hey, guys. Sorry I'm too tired to be on tonight, but I'd be glad to engage for a chat for a bit. No, that's cool, dude. We have a Lestat in a hat in the chat. I don't know if you got the question earlier, but who is your favorite kind of horror villainess or femme fatale, actually, Antro, while you're there, while we have you? What else was I going to say? No, there's not much fucking else. I'm just trying to think if there are any other horror movies in the pipeline. They're rebooting Jigsaw with fucking Chris Rock behind it. I don't know how I feel about that.
The one movie I'm most looking forward to is the Candyman reboot.
Yeah, that looks amazing, and that movie is so fucking relevant with all the shit going on. Especially, have you guys seen the teaser trailer done with the shadow puppets?
No.
Oh
Yeah, I have.
That was cool.
Cara, if you get a chance, check out the teaser for the new Candyman, because it's probably the most socially relevant fucking horror movie. And Queenie, I have a theory, and I don't think it's just going to be Bloodworth, or what's Candyman's real name again? Is it something Bloodworth?
Shit, I can't remember.
I think it's going to be.
He was an artist,
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be a number of spirits, malvoyant spirits, who have like faced racist atrocities, going by that trailer.
Well, they teased Rachel.
Sorry?
They teased the girl from the first one who became, or not Rachel, Helen, right? The girl, the main character, Candyman. They teased her.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, is the character the guy from is it Winston Duke? Yeah, I think Winston Duke is the main character. Fuck, I gotta double check. Winston Duke gets possessed by these different characters. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Deacon, have you seen that trailer?
Which one?
The teaser for Candyman, the one done with the shadow puppets.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to the movie. That's actually that was the thing that reinvigorated my interest for this adaptation.
Yeah, me too. I was a little worried about it at first. I'm like, but I don't know. This looks interesting. It looks like a new spin on it. That might actually be good.
I have to say,
as long as they don't.
Oh, sorry, Deacon, go on.
Oh no, what I was going to say was, as long as they don't stray too much away from the cultural relevance it had, then I'm going to be happy.
But here's the thing is, though, Deacon, not only is it going to maintain its cultural relevance, it's going to be more fucking relevant with all the shit that's going on. I genuinely think, if the Shadow Puppet trailer is anything to go by, again, it's one of those things where I am genuinely hoping the political and social subtext doesn't fall, but it would definitely kind of like be something interesting to fucking look and evaluate. Again, that's another movie, and it wasn't going to be out around Halloween. It was going to be pushed later, but I think since Halloween Kills was pushed back, that actually got its spot. So that's a movie to look forward to for Halloween.
Halloween's gonna be fun with all the movies.
Actually, guys, what's your plan for Halloween? Has COVID-19 put like your Halloween plans on a carry bash? Like, will you be changing things up, or will you be doing much less the same that you'll be doing for other Halloweens? Deacon, what about you? What are you going to be doing?
Changing things up a little bit this year. Normally, I set up the decorations leading towards the front door to make it as creepy as possible. So the kids have to knock, do little tricks, and get treats. This year, because of COVID, I'm going to be sitting in the front garden in a lawn chair dressed up as a scarecrow and waiting for them to pass by, then jumping up, and those who don't run away get sweets.
Okay. Something tells me you're going to have a nice fucking bunch of sweets left for yourself. The Werewitch, what's your plan for Halloween, or is it too early to call? Oh, is Queenie? Oh, Queenie's gone muted. She's probably gone off and got something to eat or gone to the loo. Trenchy, what about yourself? What's your plans for Halloween?
I don't know. I'm just gonna wing it. I'll probably watch some horror movies. I don't think COVID's gonna affect my night. There probably won't be any trick or treating. That depends on, like, I guess the parents and stuff of the kids and stuff. So that might be slightly different. But besides that, it'll probably be same old, you know.
Charles Cochrane. Speaking about the relevance, the weekend the original Candyman was released, a child was killed in Cabrini Green, where the movie is set. Fuck.
Jesus.
Antro says probably going to watch movies with a friend in the backyard if the weather's cooperates. Definitely still dressing up and decorating as per usual. Mark, what's your plans for All Hallows Eve or Samhain?
To try as many kids as possible. I'm
Go
gonna
trick or
get
treating?
No, traumatize as many kids as possible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. That's what Halloween's all about.
I hear the fucking kids are brats, and I can't stand most of them.
Scaring the shit out of them. Good, man.
Are you going to dress up to scare the shit out of them, or just...
Oh, I've already got my costume. I just have it locked away.
What is it? Or do you want to leave it as a surprise till Halloween? Huh?
The creeper.
Oh, cool.
Creepers.
That's cool.
Queenie, are you back to us?
Yep.
What's your plans for Samhain?
Oh, well, I usually do like some pagan stuff because I'm a witch. But I also like to watch like horror movies, and I like to carve my pumpkin and eat a lot of junk food. Buy Halloween stuff. You know, the usual.
And like COVID hasn't put a fucking carry bash too much on us. You're still going to be
Not really. I mean, like I would have liked to hang out with my friends more. I usually hang out with them more. Like we'll dress up and we'll hang out and have parties and stuff. But like it's probably not going to happen this year. But I can do the other stuff because I always do that by myself anyway.
Cara, what about yourself? Have you any plans for Halloween? What do you usually do for Halloween? And is COVID gonna like fuck up your plans?
Not really. We're probably just going to do what we normally do. We stay in, probably order a pumpkin-shaped pizza, watch some movies. My
Sweet beans.
Mr. Rick back here likes watching Demon Night every year, so we're very likely going to do that.
Oh, that's a great movie. I'm thinking this year, and if anyone's down for it, I'm thinking of doing a watch stream of Evil Dead 2. So if anyone's up for that, because I adore watching Evil Dead 2 on Halloween, because it's just it's a movie that has the level of mischief that always puts me in the mood for Halloween. I mean, whether it's like a decapitated, half-dressed, rotting corpse coming through your garden shed with a chainsaw, or you having to jump on a deceased granny's head and her eyeball goes flying into someone's mouth. That to me, fucking that to me sums up Halloween. So I'll probably be doing a watch stream of Evil Dead 2. I may dress up, but I'll see. I usually have a party as well, but fuck it, I don't know what the fuck's happening with this. So I'll see. I might keep it small. Well, yeah, no, just again, I'm looking forward to Halloween. I'm one of those people who loves Halloween more than Christmas, which is probably weird.
No, it's not weird.
Christmas is for family. Halloween's for me.
Yeah.
The reason for me Halloween trumps Christmas is 15 years of retail in a department fucking store. Christmas for me is like feeding time at the fucking zoo. I just Christmas. I swear to God, Mark, it brims out the worst in people. And actually, I have a question for you guys that are living stateside, right? What the fuck is it going to be like for Christmas with COVID-19? And what the fuck is Black Friday going to be like?
I don't know.
Like,
a nightmare.
Seriously, they'll have to. They'll have to, because like it'll be like that scene in fucking 28 weeks later, when the regular civilians are getting infected by the fucking
becoming running zombies.
It'd be funny if they had.
The National Guard on top of buildings just shooting people with fucking plasma screen tellies.
I don't know why. I get the feeling a lot of tasers and mace are going to be involved on Black Friday and Christmas.
Yeah, it's
Usual.
Yeah.
Charlie Cochran says Sleepy Hollow was a great choice. Pumpkinhead is all. I love Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead's great.
That was, and like Stan Winston directed that. Stan fucking Winston, the legend, the man behind the Alien, Queen, the Predator, and the Terminator, directed that fucking movie, and it still fucking holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Anthrophine says there's so much pressure to do so much stuff at Christmas. Sometimes I pressure myself too much around Halloween, but I try and make it more chill and fun. Ethel from 13 Original says after November things should stabilize to something resembling normal. Oh Jesus,
that's hopeful thinking there.
That's optimistic.
That's very
Ethel.
hopeful.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
I gotta say,
I am not so hopeful.
If you look at the estimations from the WHO Foundation, stuff like that, not just from local government, they're estimating we're not going to get this under control until maybe late next year.
Late next year, yeah.
Okay,
Ask me how happy I am.
I want to check something because I've noticed it on Facebook. I've noticed it on so many things, right? When I say fucking, right? I say the word fucking.
Yeah.
Do you get the UTK or do you get a double O when you think about spelling how I say fuck?
Wait, what?
Okay.
How he spells the word fucking.
Yeah,
When you
I noticed when someone is like, for example, I was on Yates Figures page and someone was doing a comic strip with a Conor McGregor figure and he was saying fucking and it was FOOKING. I was like, where are you getting that from? Like, I'm not giving, no, John, I'm not giving out. Is that what it sounds like? Is it sound like fucking, like, what?
when you say fuck, you go fuck. When you say fucking, you go fucking.
Do I sound like that though?
Yeah, go fucking. You go fucking instead of fucking.
Fuck off.
No, you say fuck.
You're noticing your own accent right now?
But it's when you say fucking.
Very on how I fucking speak. Now you're going to ruin my favorite word. Thanks a lot.
The bizarre thing is, you said it right then.
Don't let them take your word away, Marty.
I'm Irish. It's all I have. That's my alcoholism.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
That and being the first religion that invented the first merman.
Feck. Yes, nice. I said feck. Feck. Shite. Bollocks.
God damn.
Also, Cara, because you're new, I swear like a motherfucker because I'm Irish. That's part of my heritage.
What's my excuse?
What? You're Canadian.
I'm Canadian? I have pent-up rage? All right.
Yeah. You're from Newfoundland. You're from
Newfoundland. What happens when we have
How are you now, Queenie?
Fuck.
What's this all about?
Oh, what's that one he was saying? He was like, tit fucker, was it?
Yeah. Tug your balls. Tug your balls, Cersei.
You a tit fucker?
Oh.
And Anthro turns round and says, Marty's the only one who speaks correctly. We're the ones with the accents.
I know, you're grand. I genuinely worry sometimes that like you guys, like when you're listening to me, you're like, what the fuck is this fucking galaxy?
We had the best example. We had the best example in the other stream with Jelly Duck.
Oh, Jelly Duck. Okay, I'll let you tell the story because I find it funny, but I also found it kind of infuriating. Deacon, you explain the story.
Okay, Jelly Duck was from Kuwait, so there was a bit of a language barrier. He spoke broken English. Nice guy, but spoke very broken English. So
I can
every time Trash tried, well, we could understand Jelly Duck, but when it came to him trying to understand Trash and his accent, it was not translating. It was not getting through. He had a hard time understanding
Damn
what
it,
Trash
Marty.
was saying.
Extension, you said.
So then I turned round and said, "Can I interject here? Trash, do you want me to translate for you?" And I just said exactly what Marty said in my normal tone of voice, and that's when Jelly Duck's gone. And that's when Jelly Duck's turned around and gone, "Oh yes, I know. I can explain everything now."
For fucking verbatim. What Deacon said exactly what I said in verbatim. Is my accent that fucking thick? Like?
Your accent.
He's having a hard time.
Maybe it's because I'm
Yeah.
Canadian and like people think I talk funny too, and I'm like, okay, hoser.
Kira, do I sound like someone who escaped the famine in a time machine? What do you reckon? Have you any trouble making sense?
No, I have no trouble understanding you. I've worked at call centers for years as my regular work, and I hear all kinds of accents, so I've developed an ear for it.
So I need people who've either worked in call centers or from Canada to fucking talk. Okay.
Right.
Or grew up in a multicultural street. Because I can understand you perfectly fine. Then again, you are across the pond from me.
Yeah, I literal stone's throw away. Which reminds me, I'm going to pelt a rock through your back window someday, Deacon, okay?
Just remember, in order to get to my back window, you have to go through a couple of Rottweilers. Enjoy.
Hey, I said I'm throwing the rock. I said I'm not coming over there. Just have a note wrapped in it. Aye, bollocks. Are you up for a stream? My internet goes down. Just fucking toss the rock. Oh, Jack, I thought you were English. I have a friend of mine who's in the stream, and I thought he sounded English. And for the longest time, Deacon, you've heard Jack. Do you think he sounds a bit English, or is that just fucking me? I'm not used to posh accents.
Which one's Jack? Jack's the... give me his channel name. Easy to remember.
He's Elmo Minyosho. He was the chap who I thought was in hospital. But no, that's just what the way his room looked.
No, I didn't think he was English, but I thought he spoke English well.
Yeah. See, that's posh. That's oh, you're half English. That's posh for fucking Irish people. We're like, Jesus.
No, yeah.
This guy's posh. He doesn't drool when words are coming out of his fucking mouth.
He seems to speak the proper Queen's English in the proper tone with the proper accent to accompany it. He is very posh, and I cannot pull this off any longer. So I'm going back to Scubby Gay.
I try and do an English accent, facky slag kind of job, but I can't keep it up long.
I really love East Londoner.
Slag is such a great word.
You fucking brown bread.
Fuck off, you slag. Fat slag.
Steal my cookie, a slag. Yeah, I should just call people I love slags from now on.
Queenie does a fairly good Irish accent. She tried to copy me, but it actually came off more Limerick, which is probably one of the hardest fucking locations you can fucking hear.
I don't know. Maybe I have some of it in my background. Like that would surprise me.
You probably have Irish blood.
Probably.
Actually,
why you
Trenchy, like Queenie, we'll have some crack here. Trenchy, copy my accent. Give my accent to go.
What? No, don't do that to me, man.
No, come on, Trenchy.
It's alright. Just give his accent to go. You never know what you're gonna get.
The whole country of Ireland.
I'll give you a cookie. Come on.
Okay, what sentence? Give me a sentence.
What the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this? Ow. No.
What the fuck is this?
What the? What?
The fuck is this?
That sounds like
What
a
the fuck is
German porn star, Deacon. What?
What the fuck is
the
this?
fuck are
going
those?
on? Whoa, what the fuck is this? What's going on now?
Mark,
Tell me what's going
Mark,
on now.
Do you want to give it a go? Do you want to try?
Nothing's
Come on,
going
Mark.
now. We're doing nothing.
No,
Put your
I
bit.
cannot do access to my life.
They made
Oh,
me
come on,
do
give
it
it a
that
try.
way.
You never know. You never know. Give it a try.
Just, I know.
Cars
Unless I'm doing
like
it-
quietly judging us.
I'm just trying to not laugh.
No, this poor woman is new to the show. I'm not gonna
She's
scare
trying
her
so
off.
hard to be like,
her kind of mental shit just yet.
sorry, we're crazy pants. We don't know.
Nah, I remember how it goes. I just haven't been around in a long time.
You're like, oh,
Yeah,
my
it's been a-
friend.
It's been a while, but it's always good to see you.
Thank you for saying.
I know you broached this in you kind of broached it in your video, but is there like is there anything kind of daunting or is there any kind of things you're worried about coming back in after such a long absence, or is it just going to be like riding a bike for you, Cara? Is there anything you're worried about getting back into, or is there anything you're changing the format? Are you going to change the format of your channel or anything, or are you just going to straight back into it, same way, same format?
I'm probably only going to do just the Sunday review series that I used to do, so that's definitely going to be a lot more limited, especially because right now all I can do is just film in backstock where I'm working off of a phone or a tablet, so I need to get a hold of a computer so I can be able to manage and maneuver around more easily. Phone or tablet's a little bit more work, but I'm hoping to just jump right back in. I don't know what all has changed, so I have that adjustment period, but other than that, I imagine it wouldn't be too big a problem.
I remember watching your old videos and thinking they were pretty awesome, especially some of the kind of the makeup work and stuff you used to do as well. Like, is that something else you're planning on changing up, or are you going to kind of keep, as you said, do you keep the character, or have you made up new characters, or are you going to bring back old ones, or what's the plan of action with that?
The nun persona is going to come back. She's going to remain. The reptile is probably just going to go on hiatus for a bit, since I have a new image that I want to work with, so I kind of want to play with that and introduce that one.
Cool. So that's going to be a surprise, and again, you said you're limited because you only have the phone or the tablet. Have you a time frame when you hope to kind of get back into the swing of things, or is it just going to be slow and steady and then build it up, or are you going to kind of just you're going to go full tilt once you have the proper equipment?
I'm hoping to be back by January, see if I can record enough backstock up to June, and then after there I'll see if I'll bring more series back in as time allows.
That's cool. And again,
Yeah,
going by your own stuff, that stuff kicked ass. So yeah, I do look forward to your stuff coming back. And like, do you want? Are you happy to get hits on your older stuff? Yeah, like your backlog of stuff, or do you kind of want to keep stuff current? Like, example, I might with the guys here, I'm going to leave a link to their channel. Like, do you want your channel to? Do you want? Trying to fucking explain myself. Do you want to wait till your channel's kind of up to snuff a bit before you get new kind of viewers and subscribers, or do you want like people to check out your older stuff?
I honestly, because during my time away, people have been checking out my older stuff, and I actually find it flattering that there's still an interest in my work and what I had been doing. So if you'd like to, I'd really appreciate that. If anyone wants to check it out, there's years of back catalog stuff to keep everyone entertained, especially by the time the new stuff comes in.
Kara, can you do me a favor? Can you leave a comment in the chat? And I'm going to start giving people wrenches. When you leave a comment, I'm going to give you a wrench, and then you can put a link to your channel in the chat. Fudge. Cool beans. Make it Dice and moderator. Yeah, Queenie's a moderator already. Ethel, I'm going to make Ethel a moderator. Sorry about this. Any other kind of topics or anything you guys want to talk about? Because, as I said, I'd fucking talk the ear off the fucking bandit. Like fucking doing horror movies. What about you, Trenchy?
No, I was just laughing at the silence, man. I don't know.
Damn it,
I
Trenchy,
kind of
it's your fault. You were the one you were the glue that was supposed to hold this conversation together. And you fucked up.
You should never like depend on me, man. I'm an unreliable person.
No, you're not. You're not, man. You're the fulcrum point for society. If you fall, we're all fucked, okay?
Look, I'm trying to
I know about that,
so I don't freak people out.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, Trenchy.
Come on, Trenchy. Entertain us, Trenchy. Entertain us. Now.
The worst glue ever, Trenchy.
God.
Trenchy, if it makes you feel better, Jack just called you a bay. He is a bay. Actually,
No, we're not doing this.
Trenchy's been.
You mean when we were Trenchy could fit in Twilight quite nicely.
He is. I come here, Trenchy. I wouldn't kick you out of bed for eating crisps. That's all I'll fucking say. Okay? I wouldn't kick you out of bed for eating biscuits or crisps. I guarantee you're a man who broke many a woman's heart asunder. Just by the fucking look at you, okay? You okay, Trenchy? He's probably
I'm good.
He's probably curled up in a ball going, you bastard.
Pretty close.
He's choking back the tears.
But yeah, no, Kara, come here, leave a comment. I'll make you a moderator, and you'll be able to leave a link if you want in the chat.
I've put a link to her. I've put a link in the chat for her channel already.
Oh, you did?
Okay, thank you.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
I had written in the private chat here would be easier because last time I tried jumping over and I couldn't get that echo to stop.
No, you're okay.
Oh, John, after the stream, yeah, I'll contact you.
Deacon, where did you leave it?
MunsterDecon comment link for Kara's channel. It's in the chat on YouTube.
How long ago?
If you look for the post from Dice saying "Dance, Trenchy, dance," it's 2 posts above that.
No joy. No, it didn't come
what's
up.
happening there?
It's right after
what's happening
Trenchy is
there, then?
big. And then dance, Trenchy, dance.
Doesn't come up then.
No, it's not good.
It's in between. I got the spammer.
You know what? I'm gonna hop onto Kira's channel and stop it on there.
Yeah, I mean
Oh, cool. Dice got it. Dice
will come through.
Oh no, where'd you go?
She comes back. I'll let Rana. Thanks, Dice.
It's because I wrote something in front of it, so it didn't show it up.
Okay.
Here would be easier for me if that's okay.
Sorry?
Unfortunately, I love you, Trenchy, but not that much. Oh yeah, that was
Marty,
Tara.
check your private chat.
Private chat, private chat.
Oh,
I
she
don't know what
disappeared.
that means.
Oh no! Oh no! Where did horror retrospective go?
She's in the private
If
chat.
she comes back in, I'll let her back in again because the poor lady probably went to get the fucking link, so she wouldn't be disturbing the chat.
And it dated. We hate it when it dated. Da-da, da-da, da-da,
Oh, she's back,
da-da.
I think. Hello,
Yay!
Dice.
I think I kicked
Karen,
myself out by accident.
Dice plonked the link up there as well, but again in the description I'll leave a link to everyone's channel. But if you get a chance, check out Kara's channel for Retrospective. If you don't, I'll hunt you down with a pitchfork and do weird Irish shit. Yeah. So yeah, you know, just an incentive to check out her channel.
Just don't ask
yeah,
where he sticks the acorns.
Look, Deacon, that was one time, and you seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, at the time, but you did it without consent.
I did it
How
with peanut
dare-
butter, though.
I know,
did it
but
with-
still.
Okay.
I know,
fine.
but still.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
What
Listen,
the fuck?
That was
no,
one hell of a sticky
jealous.
situation. That was a
What's
sticky
turned this
situation.
into?
No, hey, Deacon, it was peanut butter, so it was more of a crunchy situation.
Was there potatoes involved?
I just saw Queenie. Did you see Queenie change the name of her channel?
Yeah, I saw that.
Crunchy is big.
Trenchy's big.
Crunchy
You feel love,
is
Trenchy?
big.
So,
You better fucking
Like a
feel loved.
buffalo soldier.
Cara, do you think you might come back on to us again, or have myself and Deacon scared you ever living shit out here, and you're like, I'm never coming on a live streaming? If not, it's cool. I don't mind. I actually appreciate you coming on for the first time. I hope you had some good crack and had a laugh and weren't like, what the fuck have I gotten into?
No, thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate it. I honestly didn't expect to hear from anyone, especially that soon, but I definitely, if you guys are willing to have me, I'd love to come back. But as far as my self-streaming on my channel, I definitely want to keep up with that. I know tomorrow's Labor Day here in the US. I was debating whether or not to jump on again just for the fun of it. So I don't know if anyone may or may not be interested in that.
I certainly would be. People in the chat and people in the actual thing, would you like to see a video from Cara tomorrow?
Yeah,
Hands up.
I'm happy.
I'm down.
I mean,
Yeah.
Seems cool.
Yeah,
John
that's a
Sears,
unanimous vote.
see you're back. Yeah, Cara, I think the consensus is people would love to see you back tomorrow. So if you want, go first. I do a kind of stream every Sunday evening, and I'm also doing a whole watching shitty fucking public domain horror movies with Deacon and Trenchy. And I think, Queenie, you're kind of getting back into stream watching horror movies as well, right?
Yeah.
We actually, are you still up for watching Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll let you
Think we
fucking
should.
organise that, and we'll get cracking on that.
Yeah, it's perfect. Because we watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, that was good.
Mhm.
I know one thing I'd like to try and do either at the end of this month or the beginning of next, if I get my webcam sorted out.
What would you like to do?
Get onto Discord, invite a few people, set up a stream so we can all watch Freak together. Because I know Anthro's never seen it.
Freak.
Freak.
Yeah, we gotta enlighten the kid.
What? Wait,
Our job.
Is it Freak
It's the
or
one-
Freak? Is it the old black and white movie with the actual people who suffer from?
No, Freak. It stars actor's
Is that
name
the full
always
moon one?
slipped me.
Sorry,
The one
Cara?
that suffers.
Oh no, I was asking,
Cara?
was that the Full Moon film?
Or is
I
that
think so. It's
Castle
the one that stars Bill and Ted.
Oh,
What?
oh no, yeah, that it's called Freaks. That one's Freaks. Yeah, Alex
Yeah.
Winter gets turned into a fucking mutation. You also have Mr. T playing the bearded man woman. You have what is it? A guy who's turned into a sock, who's
Bobcat.
basically just a sock puppet. Yeah, it's a weird fucking movie. It was
That
originally a
sounds
spin-off.
amazing.
It was originally a spin-off from a thing on MTV called Liquid Television that Alex Winter ran. And then he got money to make a movie, and it is fucking insane. You have Keanu Reeves as the dog boy, who's literally a dog. That's a boy. You have a guy who's a worm who, throughout the movie, asks for someone to scratch his nose or his arse. It's a weird movie, but it's fairly fun. Yes, Brooke Shields was in it with monster feet. So yeah, if it's a fun movie. Would we be able to watch that on Discord?
I think if we share it and it's a watch party, and I'm not putting it on YouTube straight away, it should be all right.
Okay. Yeah, no, I do like the stream watching because it is cool. Like I can't really have many friends over, but with you guys it's cool. It's like watching movies with your friends. So that's kind of why I like the whole watching stream.
Alfie, your claws are sharp.
Wait, Deacon, are you and Mark having a dog off?
Maybe.
I just put a dog off. But
The dogs are taking over.
Planet of the Dogs. I'm going to again. I'm probably going to stay on till 2. Is there anything else anyone would like to chat about, or if people have to go, or if they're like, Jesus, this fucking thing is running longer than it needs to. If you want to dust off, feel free. But is there any other kind of movie news or stuff coming out? I do know that Grizzly 2 is actually finally getting released after 40 years.
What? There's
Yeah.
a Grizzly too?
Yeah. Essentially, they are going to recut the movie so it looks like both George Clooney, Charlie Sheen, and Laura Dern are the main characters in the movie. The thing was in the
Do you
original.
want a wee-wee? Do you want to go for a wee-wee? Come on then. The dog wants a wee-wee.
Okie dokie. The producer of the movie, he ran off with the funds and they never got to finish the visual effects bear. So they actually managed to dig the bear out of storage, finally pay off the visual effects people, and it's being re-released with new footage. So I'm going to be interested because they recut it together and then use modern cameras to fucking do the final quarter or half of the movie. So it should be interesting. It should be a fucking disaster, but interesting. John Steele, I'm going to recommend a shot on a video flick from 1990 film called Tins. That's a batshit crazy and ridiculous. Tins. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah.
Him?
No, but John keeps recommending it to me.
Cara, have you seen
Oh,
it?
my bad.
Was that the
No,
one
no,
with him
Trench,
that was the anatomy dummy in it?
Is
Yeah, that's what John keeps telling me. There's
Yeah,
like
I
a
like
mannequin,
that one.
right?
Yeah. That one's crazy. I like that one.
it's I have yet to see it. What's the basic premise, guys?
It's pretty much kind of like, what is it, the brother and the sister. The brother gets attached to this mannequin. He thinks it talks to him, and I really don't want to ruin the ending. There's a twist there that you kind of really don't realize.
Yeah,
So,
I would
is it-
recommend watching it blind.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to not ruin the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't get any recommendations. Don't watch any reviews. Just watch the movie completely unaware, and you will enjoy it. If you get any spoilers beforehand, you might not enjoy it as much.
Things?
Tins. That's what it's called.
That's a different movie. I think,
Oh, okay.
well, one we're thinking of is Pin. We're thinking of Pin. I've seen most
Yeah.
of Things. Things is psychotic.
You coming in, little man?
I've seen some weird shit in my time. I've seen Frank Kenner's Bad Biology. I've seen what else have I seen? Teeth. Everyone's seen Teeth though.
I haven't seen Teeth. I was scared of Teeth for so long.
It would, Cara, Queenie, would you consider Teeth a female empowerment horror movie?
It's all
Or
right. Look,
garbage?
you're the star of the show. You're the star of the show. Yeah, I know. Come on, this way. Come on.
I'm not sure.
Cara, have you seen
Queenie's there.
Teeth?
I have. I think to a degree it would be because people try taking advantage of, I don't remember the character's name, but she has this hidden way of protecting herself that most people aren't aware of.
I remember when she kind of went with the Skizzy guy and everything was grand, and then he turned into a dickhead, and then the second time they did it, she snipped him off. Like it's a movie I've been meaning to review. I don't know if it falls under the kind of, if it's too trashy to have kind of a kind of serious context put to it. The thing that I love about it is it actually references one of my favorite stop motion movies in it, The Black Scorpion, when she has visions of what her vagina dentata looks like. It's the actual creature from The Black Scorpion. That's the thing I like about it. But again, it's been a while since I watched it, so it's probably up for a re-review. But actually, going around, Deacon, what's the weirdest, most messed up movie you've watched?
Oh, bloody hell! Come back to me. That's a long list.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to hit you. What's the weirdest, strangest, fudged up movie you've watched?
Not necessarily the weirdest, most diabolical.
What's it about?
Basically, you have this widowed man whose son is imploring him to get out and start dating again. So instead of just actually going out and trying to date people, this guy sets up like a fake audition for all these ladies, and the one who he really gets his hopes up for turns out to be more demented than he will ever thought about being in Misery.
Audition?
It sounds like
sounds like Audition.
It's Audition.
I thought you said Diabolic.
Watch everything she puts that poor bastard through.
Oh, okay. No. I thought the title was Diabolic. Yeah, Audition. Yeah. Dice says Rock and Roll Nightmare. Is that the one with Thor? Is that the one with your man, not fucking Chris Hemsworth, but the guy's actual name is Thor? He had it legally changed to Thor. He started some shitty fucking rock band. And like there's puppets and shit. Is that the one, Dice? The movie starts off with someone coming out of the oven. Yeah, John Mickle Thor. What a fucking name. Jesus Christ. That's a weird flick. Trenchy, weirdest flick you've ever watched?
Weirdest? There's probably weirder, but what comes to mind is Slitter's pretty fucked up and weird. You got the little things climbing up people's mouths or in their vaginas and shit, and that one girl bloats.
Oh yeah, Dave. That was
That's a different Cronenberg movie?
Yeah, that was one of his earlier movies. Now,
No.
Shivers, right? You said Shivers.
No, Slither. J.J.
Slither.
Abrams, Michael
Oh,
Rooker.
yeah.
There's a weird sex
But
scene.
that was influenced. That was influenced by
Oh.
Shivers. So, yeah, Slither's pretty fucking messed up, all right. And you can see where James got his kind of. He was working for Trauma. You can see where that kind of influence came from. What about Cara? What about yourself? Most messed up or deranged movie you ever watched?
It was definitely out there, but I would say Society. It was pretty wild, but it actually had a meaning to it, which I really liked.
Howling Mad George, and that. What was the term for the weird orgy? They had a fucking term for it in the end.
Shunting or something like that.
That's it. The shunting. Jesus Christ. That is an unnerving movie. and again, I think, like, I don't know if you got the whole social commentary about, like, society, like, the upper class are monsters, and you have to fall in line, you could become one of them.
They feed off the less fortunate.
Yeah, that was it was a more graphic kind of version of They Live. I kind of found it like that. Deacon, have you come up with anything yet?
I can't find the French title for the movie, but I found the American title for the remake, Eden Lake.
Oh, that was originally a French movie.
Yeah, the French version is more self-contained. It's where the basic premise of the movie,
bunch of young couple picnicking.
Yeah, in this one, it's a bunch of youths which find that a couple have just recently bought the house that they used to hang around in. So over the course of a week, they slowly traumatize, victimize, break in, and sabotage everything in the house until they pretty much hunt these two people down and kill them in cold blood, and then get on a bus and go home.
That's
the savagery of youth when there's nothing else to do.
The thing is, though, the English version, I like that the parents are just as complicit, and they end up trapping Kelly Riley in the bathroom, where she's going to suffer a fucking horrible fate. She goes basically. I don't want to reveal the ending, but like I think that's more impactful than like the home invasion angle. For me,
I can see where you're coming from, but I prefer the original because it was a lot darker. Because the kids weren't just doing it to shut up a witness; they were doing it because they found enjoyment out of it.
Do you know what movie? Sorry, Deacon, go on.
Oh no, you go on.
No, do you know what movie that reminds me of? That is really, really good, and it's actually one of the cases where I think the remake surpasses the original. Funny Games. Have you seen that one with Tim Roth and Naomi Watts?
Yeah.
Ooh. And like, there's a bit half. Have you guys seen that movie?
Sounds familiar, but I can't say for sure yes or no one way or the other.
It's basically Naomi Watts, her husband, and their child move into a boathouse, and these two teenage boys go around. These two teenage boys go around and asking for eggs, asking the neighbors, can they get a lend of eggs? And depending on the answer, they choose who they're going to fucking torture. And like, they're talking about the scenario. They're talking to the camera, and they're talking about like different things that people might do. And in one scene, like the father gets a hold of the shotgun and kills one of the perpetrators, and it freezes, and the other perpetrator turns to the camera and goes, "Yeah, that shouldn't have happened." And he rewinds, and then he picks up, his friend comes back to life, he picks up the shotgun, and they shoot the 9-year-old boy in the head. And it's like, you're like, what the fuck? Because you think the glimmer of hope you had is completely fucking erased because these guys literally cheat in the film. But that film stuck with me. Hey, Queenie, have you any favorite fucked up movies?
I got a list.
Okay, hit us with what comes to the top.
Well, one of my favorites is Martyrs. I really love Martyrs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel about the ending for that.
Right.
Did the character get a victory?
Ooh,
Like,
it's so brutal.
It is. It is. Like, the thing is, you're wondering, did she actually see the fucking Almighty? And did she just tell her one that to fuck her over? Or is it just a case, like, what do you think? Did she actually have a transcendent kind of spiritual experience?
I think she had a spiritual ability, like a spiritual moment because of her eyes, like the way she's like. But like my darkness is like, oh, fuck her over.
No, I just when your one went into the bathroom and just fucking killed herself, I was like, yeah. You deserve us, you bitch.
And she says you don't want to know. You know,
like,
she's trying to warn them.
Like, I genuinely think that if a movie, if the one scene can fucking just make you on edge for the rest of the movie, it succeeded. And like the start of Martyrs with that family just sitting down having breakfast, and then
it's so normal. Yeah,
they come in with the shotgun and just fucking go to town.
So
Irreversible, another fucking example. What happened
to
Lucci?
That's a hard movie.
That was a rough one.
Yeah. And like again, I remember talking to CP about it, and just like it was necessary for that to happen to show why, because it was done in reverse. It's necessary to show that happen because it fucking pulls back and we see what the lad's done. Like the scene with the fire extinguisher. It's like, what the fuck happened to make these guys do that? And then you see that and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was necessary. Films of Jorg Wittgrit. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that title. Charles, is there any particular title that comes to mind that we might have heard of?
Oh, he was responding to me. The French title of the movie I was looking for was Them.
Oh, okay.
And it's the films of George Bourtois. Bourtois.
Is there any movie that you watched that was shocking, but it was kind of hollow shock? It was like, it was done. There was no. You didn't think it was needed. It was unnecessary, and you think it was actually kind of very lowbrow. Any you can think of?
A lowbrow movie.
Yeah, that was. Oh, you did, yeah. Like, Queenie, you've watched a lot of crazy shit. Was there any movie that was like, there's no need for this. This didn't need to be fucking done like this, sir?
If I feel like they're just being exploitative for the sake of exploitation, that kind of bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like women dressed in these skimpy outfits, and then they're like brutally raped in front of us, and it's like, why are you doing that? What is the message? Is it just for titillation, or
that's what that was the point I was making earlier on, like the dangers of the kind of rape revenge movies.
You
like,
gotta be careful of them, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be just making something some fucknut can get his jollies to it, like, you know.
Right.
I don't know why, but talking about that just makes Sucker Punch pop into my head.
That's actually a good example. There's like so many levels to that movie.
That would have been good as a heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know, the heavy metal comics. Yeah,
How's
it
it feel?
but as my friend Charlene pointed out, like if these girls are going into their head for empowerment, why would the first level they go into be a brothel, and why would they dress themselves up like that?
Because
Like-
usually in a brothel, women are calling the shots. Men are there as customers, but it's the women.
But the thing is, they're not in this brothel. Like 3 of them are fucking killed, like outright in the brothel. It's just, again, as Charlene pointed out, it's a good premise. It's just badly executed.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Cara, is there any movies you've watched that you're like, why the fuck is this being done? There's no need for this. It's absolutely just for shock value. That you've actually turned off. That you've like, this is trash.
I can't think of any right off the top of my head. I know I've seen some in the past where it was just offensive and I just thought it was trash. Nothing's coming to mind right now.
That's okay.
But just
Trash.
really quick, just because I want to say a proper goodbye, I'm going to go ahead and just jump off.
That's
Some
okay.
of my evening with the husband here.
No, that's
No,
good.
that-
Come here, Cara, I want to say thanks a million for coming on. You're more than welcome to come on in future. I hope. I hope we haven't fucking made you think, Jesus, we're all fucking demented bags. You know,
Welcome back, and see you again soon.
Thank you.
you're more than welcome back
Thank you.
anytime. And
Thank you for having me.
I'll give an old pimp tweet to the channel every once in a while, and I'll try and plug it when I can. Okay, so have a good night or day or whatever time it is there. Okay, thanks a million, Cara.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
All right, no worries. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Movies that shouldn't exist just because of their offensiveness. Trash humpers.
Elaborate.
Drop a title like that, and people are kind of like, "What?"
Is this like someone actually fucking a bag of garbage?
Pretty much. It's an art house
off.
movie where the budget was limited, the effects were non-existent. It was all one camera angle, one camera all the way through, and you're basically following 3 to 4 people, 3 men, 1 woman, who are intentionally acting like the most degenerative, brain-damaged people in the entire planet because it gains them sympathy. And one of the scenes where they gain sympathy is by acting as if they are completely and utterly so disturbed and brain dead that they would hump trash bags.
Is it bad that I find that kind of appealing and I might actually want to watch that?
Feel free.
Maybe
It's
you're
actually,
on alcohol or heroin or something at the time. I just.
believe it or not, Trenchy, that's one movie out of a trilogy.
They made a
shit.
fucking trilogy.
Yeah, it's a trilogy.
That kind of reminds me of Street Trash, but even Street Trash has more charm than that.
Well, this is from the art noir phase, where they believed everything that Hollywood does to movies is wrong. It should all go back to basics, the bare minimum, and should not really have a coherent story. It should be more dada than doo-doo.
Wait, so essentially you're saying some fuckers thought they were fucking Pablo Picasso because they were fucking bags of rubbish in a movie?
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Nah, man.
Welcome to Art House.
You motherfuckers!
Welcome
That's
to Art House. As I
because-
said,
Oh,
that's
my
not the
bad.
worst one. You've got The Idiots, which is its follow-up, which is where they're pulling exactly the same thing, except they're going to the next extreme, where they're acting as if they have Down syndrome or severe mental handicaps, so they can get free trips on buses and stuff like that.
Data.
And through the trilogy, you see a slightly self-conscious woman who could otherwise, with a little bit of a confidence boost, have a great life. By the end,
Your brother.
by the end, be the type of woman that needs to be force-fed with a spoon as if she was a baby. By choice.
Are these filmmakers still alive?
Yes. One's actually famous.
Did they reproduce is a better question.
To give you an idea, one of the writers who helped make that small trilogy is also one of the writers for Melancholia.
The film with fucking Kirsten Dunst and Kiefer Sutherland and the planet actually.
Yeah.
What did Cara leave?
Yeah, she said bye. She said
Okay.
thank you for having us, and she will be back another time. The door is always open.
Okay.
Don't worry, I told her that we're thankful that she's back, that we're glad to see her back, and we hope to see more of her.
Okay.
Okay? So don't worry, I took care of that. Just so you missed her.
I'd say we scared her off, Queenie.
I don't think
Part of
she's
the life
really
is what
scared
we
off.
did.
Well, she decided to leave just before we started the trash humpers conversation, so maybe she chose the right time.
Yeah, that's some good timing.
It was cool of her to join us, and it was cool of yourself and her because again, I wanted a kind of a female perspective on her because just
Yeah.
No, you did the right thing. You bounced out the conversation because you would ask Queenie, then Cara, then you would also ask one of the two guys, either me or Trenchy or Mark and me. One of the two.
Yeah,
you did very well.
I wasn't trying to say, oh, no men should be. I wanted to keep it fair and stuff because I like.
No, you kept it well balanced. You did.
And Marty, hey, if you ever want different people on the panel, you don't have to apologize. Just tell us, I want some different people on the panel, and I'll save the chat.
No, but I didn't want to be like fucking ousting anyone or anything like that. I do intend to mix it up and stuff. So if you're not invited on, it's not because I don't want you on. It's just I want to try and get perspectives from people who may be an interest in that particular field of horror or that particular field.
I think the only exception to that is for me because we're on the same time frame.
Yeah. Again, as I said, we're kind of like fucking Richard and Judy now. We're
we're turning into a tag team. We are turning into a team.
You guys work together.
High five, Deacon. Wait, no, wrong side. Which fucking side am I? High five.
There we go.
There you go.
Looks like I got a huge hand compared to yours.
He's a giant. Come on, do it again.
Monster people.
Oh.
See?
No, I'm just saying, man, like, if you ever want to, I will never take it personally. I will gladly send the chat.
No,
just saying.
I don't want anyone feeling like they're being knocked out. It just, all I'd say is if you don't get an invite, don't take it personally. I'm trying to fuck stuff up. But by and large, you guys, anyone is welcome. I really wish. I'm just wondering how much would it be for fucking StreamYard. See if I subscribe, like that people.
Let me look up. See how much it is.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can do better. That was like a 3.
I think the cheapest one now is $20 a month.
Huh?
Because I checked into StreamYard as well.
I'm trying to think.
But going back
$20.
to shitty movies that didn't need to be made, Zombies wins got worst.
What movie?
You're breaking up.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
It depends on what package you
That
want to
whole
go for.
opening to Rob Zombie's Halloween is complete garbage.
Oh, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween. 1 at least. 2 I'm not a fan of, but 1 at least I think has some
No.
merit.
The whole conversation
Hell no.
between William Forsythe and Sherry Moon Zombie is disgusting.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
that where they're giving each other shit in the kitchen, I just thought that wasn't necessary.
Well, I never went into a Halloween movie and was expecting to see a handicapped guy threaten to. Did he threaten to skullfuck the baby, or did he threaten to skullfuck Sherry Moon
Zombie?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with Mark on that. Like,
I have a weird sense of humor. I found it like it was disturbing, but it was a little funny. Like if it was the baby, that's different. But since he threatened Sherry Moon Zombie, that was a little funny. But I get what you guys are saying. Michael should have, if they wanted to do a backstory on Michael, he shouldn't have just said, "Oh, he came from a white trash family. That's why he's psychotic."
Yeah,
but
I don't know if I'd be spending that much deacon on it. That's fairly fucking dear, dude.
The most disturbing part in that scene is when Sherry Moon Zombie's daughter walks by and Ronnie goes, Your daughter's got a real nice ass. He's sitting there talking about, coming on his stepdaughter's ass.
Yeah, it's yeah, I get what he's trying to do, the whole hellbelly thing, but it's for shock value. Visually it looks fucking cool. I think some of his best movies are kind of like Lords of Salem. Lords of Salem is very restrained in both kind of obscenities.
Out of all the zombie movies I've watched, most restrained.
Kweeny, do you think Rob Zombie is more style over substance?
Style, yeah. His dirty, trashy style.
Yeah,
it works for some movies. Like I like House of a Thousand Corpses. I like his original stuff.
Yeah.
He's basically an auteur. Basically an auteur, someone who has a particular perspective or style when it comes to making movies. Expecting anything else from him is not going to happen.
It doesn't work for Halloween, in my opinion. That's all. It just doesn't work.
No, I agree.
I don't need to have all that backstory about Michael Myers. I don't need, there's so much in it.
Kweeny, it's like why fucking Prometheus and Covenant fucking failed.
Yeah.
You don't need an explanation for why the fucking xenomorph is the way it is. Right. It's the mystique that makes it even more fucking scary. Like,
especially since it's nicer to unravel the mystery as you go on, because there have been a plethora of children killers. Some of them have been serial killers who have killed adults when they were under the age of 12, and they don't have a tragic backstory like Michael does. Not like they did in the Halloween movie.
Right.
Most of them are normal.
What about prime example, Deacon, would be the two Venables and who was the other guy that killed Jimmy?
Those two monsters.
Like again, because there was no fucking sign of fucking sexual abuse or any kind of trauma from their history or anything, and
there was also no evidence of them being there was evidence of them being bullies, but not sadistic bullies. So it's as if one day they just snapped and decided this will be the day.
And I still fucking think it's absolute fucking dog's bollocks that fucking Child's Play 2 got fucking lambasted because of them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Them going,
You can't-
oh, but we were copying the
That's the thing with
movies.
society.
You did not copy the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing with fucking society, though. We as a species, we want something to blame. We can't just realize that, no, some people are just fucking born monsters. We want a reason. We want an explanation. It was just so fucking convenient to say, oh, he played this fucking video game. Oh, he watched this movie. Oh, he read this comic. No, some people are just fucking downright evil.
I know.
Right.
Loads of people get the wrong blame. I mean, just look at Charles Manson after Columbine. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
his name got dragged through the mud, and he did nothing wrong.
But Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
Charles.
Oh,
Just
sorry,
straight
Marilyn
up.
Manson.
There's a lot wrong.
Sorry, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson, because he didn't do anything wrong. Charles Manson, because he didn't do anything wrong.
Well, at the time, he probably didn't, but he did a lot of wrong. I don't think Charles Manson fucking organized Columbine, even though that'd be some crazy ass shit. That'd be scary, man. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not
they
trying to
blame-
make light. I'm just saying it would be.
Yeah, but they blamed all of their actions on listening to Marilyn Manson.
And
That's what the
saying,
press said.
I always
Yeah.
say you can't blame a movie or something for inspiring someone. You can get inspired by anything to create chaos if you really want to. And I always bring up that at the new Joker movie, they put tons of security because they thought people were gonna like kill each other. Nope. But at the Frozen 2 screening, there was a 100-person brawl involving machetes. So, yes.
I don't even think it's a fucking movie. I think if someone's gonna, pardon my language, but if someone's gonna be a cunt, they're gonna fucking be a cunt.
Exactly.
Well, technically, it takes 3 things to make someone an uncontrollable killer, but you only need 2 of them to make you a judgmental killer, one that can use ration and reasoning. It takes genetics. So if you've got the genetic disposition, if you are missing the part of your brain or you don't feel emotion the same way as other people, that's going to play havoc with your future, especially if you suffer from delusions, hallucinations, anything like that. It goes untreated, unrecognized, it can drive you mad. Nurturing. How are they raised? What lessons are they being taught? If the parents aren't distilling good lessons into them, or if society aren't distilling good lessons into them about morality, how are they going to know what's morally right and wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got...
I do agree with you, Deacon, on the nature nurture thing. For example, as you were saying with that poor goth girl who was beaten up, it showed the fucking level of contempt those fucking teens had because the mother thought it was fucking. The mother of them thought it was hilarious. But
Yeah.
to quote, but also to quote Bronn from Game of Thrones, there's no cure for a cunt being a cunt, and that's some people are just fucking pieces of shit. Like,
Oh no, I am not arguing against that. There are some people out there whose moral code and understanding of humanity is so twisted that they cannot be trusted around other people.
yeah, again, I'm with you. There's always some catalyst for someone being shitty, but you do get that aberration where someone is just an absolute vile piece of shit.
Oh yeah, like with Ted Bundy, the perfect storm. A handsome sociopath who was also highly well educated. So in other words, he was Sherlock Holmes, quote, a high functioning sociopath, not a psychopath. But because of how he was raised and how he viewed people, he just saw them as tools, things to be used and discarded.
Yeah, it's just it's a weird fucking it's just a weird fucking state of affairs that people are just fucking evil without needing a catalyst.
Yeah, people like that really do get under your skin. I can't remember the guy's name, but he killed his teacher in cold blood. He got caught. There was video evidence of the entire thing. And when they were questioning him about it, about the motive, about his reasoning, what drove him to do it, there was absolutely nothing. good home life. He showed the signs of being someone who's going to be well educated, have a well adjusted emotional and mental stability. But one day he just turned around and said, "This is all of a sod. I'm going to kill my teacher."
Yeah, it's just again aberrations and fucking. And people are giving people who watch horror movies are fucking fuck you. Going by you guys like people who watch horror movies are the nicest bunch of fucking folks on the planet. It's the quiet fuckers who are like fucking collecting pocket calculators and fucking trying to make sure that their shirt is fucking perfectly bleached white for going into the fucking seminar on Monday. That I'd fucking worry about those fuckers.
I think the only reason that horror movies still get that stigma now is because of the case that happened soon after Scream came out.
Oh, yes.
The two teenage. Yeah, to give track an idea.
They had. Yeah, they were three kids, according to anybody who knew. The one kid's mom was working two jobs to provide for him and getting the kid everything he wanted, and then him and his best friend kill his high school crush and his mom, or something like that.
Basically, what they did was these two kids, normal education, average grades, not the best popular people, but still average when it came to physical, when it came to emotional, when it came to educational. They were across the board average. Mm-hmm. But over the course of a month after Scream came out, or about a year after Scream came out, they decided to plan a murder. So they picked a victim who was a girl that one guy had a crush on and the other guy was rejected by. They picked her. They then came up with a convoluted scheme where they would go to the house, say hi to people, and then leave, saying they were going to the cinema as an alibi. But instead, they went up, waited in the bushes a little bit away from the house, waited until everybody had gone apart from this girl. And that's when they decided to put on a replica ghost face mask from the movie and start walking around the house, turning on and off the lights, trying to terrorize her as much as they could by sneaking around and making doors open and close. And then once she had gotten to the point where she was going to call the authorities, they jumped out and killed her.
Do you think if it hadn't been the movie Screen, it would have been something else that would have pushed those fuckers over?
They would have.
It would have been something else that would have inspired.
The way they talked about this girl, there's video image of it. The way they talk about this girl before they kill her, they're talking about her like she's a fucking deer, man. Like she's like some sort of prey. And it's terrifying. And then afterwards, they're in the car and they're bragging about it. And they're so excited like they won a football game or something. It's terrifying to watch.
You would have thought they just fucking bing the way they're talking.
Yeah, and the whole thing that inspired them. Yeah, and the whole thing that they say that inspired them was the budding partnership between the two killers in that movie.
Which is bullshit, you know.
That could have been any thing. Oh, guys, I am going to call it a night because it is now 2 in the AM where I am. So
no problem.
Queenie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Deacon, thanks as always for being my
Thank
cohort.
Queenie.
Bark, thanks a million. Trenchy, you're a fucking sexy bastard and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Trenchy is bae.
Trenchy is a bear.
Hands up who thinks Trenchy's
Built
a
like
bear.
a buffalo soldier.
You know I do.
You're a bae, Trenchy. Accept it. Right. We are going offline, so good night, everyone.
Good night.
No.
Bye.